2020. I'm sure a year we all look back on fondly, although with the way things are going right now, I'm weighing my options. The year didn't have a great track record, but some good came out of it. Some would say the topic of today's video. Host, a found footage horror movie released in December of 2020, with the entire movie being filmed on a Zoom call. A group of friends perform a seance in said Zoom call, and let's just say things don't end the best. Think Unfriended, but like, actually good. Okay, that's a cheap shot at Unfriended. I actually kinda enjoyed that movie. Anyway, let's see what this spooky Zoom call has in store for us, shall we? Let's get into it. We start off with one of our many main characters, Haley, the only American in this movie because it takes place in the UK. We're going back to England, mate. You need to be stopped. The first person we meet, like I said earlier, is Haley. She's the sort of leader. She lives by herself, and we can already see some weird stuff going on in her apartment. But it just turns out to be some brooms in a closet and a ball falling over. Fake out spooky wookie. Did you just say spooky wookie? Next character down the line is Gemma, the sort of jokester of the group. She's a wisecracking, sarcastic, doesn't take too many things seriously type of gal. That'll come into play later. We then meet Emma, who's giving baby of the group vibes. Like, she looks significantly younger than everyone else here, but I could be wrong. Fun fact, after trying to look up everyone's age in this movie, all the actors are using their real names. I do actually still like when movies do that, if they're executed well, of course. Gives just a little more oomph to the realism. Next couple of characters we meet are Caroline and Radina. Nothing too interesting there besides Caroline's face routine and Radina getting into it with her boyfriend, who the girls think she should have not moved in with during quarantine. Man, shout out to those couples. I'm sure that was one of the bigger tests of the relationship. You both figuring out if you actually like each other enough to be in a house together for days on end. We then meet Teddy, whose real name is not Teddy, but Edward. Although classic and vintage nicknames for Edward were Ted or Teddy. What do you know? Also, all of the girls hate Teddy's girlfriend. We'll come to learn why. We then meet Salen, our medium for today's seance. Now keep in mind, Haley told everyone this is her friend and not to be assholes. Take it seriously. I'd also like to mention that they agreed to take a shot every time Salen says the words astroplying, so I don't think seriousness is in the room with us. They were all told to bring what's called a trigger object, an item that's connected to a person they will want to make contact with that is no longer here with us. Teddy was talking earlier about his music box that his brother would scare him with all the time, but everyone else's item we don't really get a backstory for. They go through the seance and it's one little thing after the other. Teddy's annoying girlfriend interrupts their moment of silence, and then she hangs up the call because she can't be 2 minutes away from this man. Everyone is visibly annoyed, me included. We then get some strange lights behind Radina that doesn't really lead to anything. Salen gets a delivery. Haley feels a hand on her shoulder, but then suddenly Gemma screams. She asks if someone is there, and it turns out to be a kid named Jack. Salen asks Gemma if she knew a Jack, and Gemma says yes. It was a boy who had hung himself that went to her school. Gemma cries as she remembers how nice the boy was to her, especially one day after she had hurt herself. He was the one that took her to get some help. Salen is about to tell her something when the shelf behind her gets knocked over, and her connection cuts. And you want to know the scariest part about this whole thing? That entire story was completely fake. What the f? Yeah, so Jenna made that entire thing up because she was bored and nothing was happening. Even worse, that'll come back to bite her and everyone else in this call in the ass. But as usual, I'm getting ahead of myself. Gemma, you f***ing suck. First of all, Oscar-worthy performance. Could have fooled me when I first watched this way back when. Second of all, Haley gave you specific orders. Take this seriously. And what do? The complete opposite of that. Everyone takes a bathroom break and you could tell Haley is pissed. She has every right to be. This is why you don't invite your goofy ass friends to stuff like this. They will 9 times out of 10 never take it as seriously as you do. Gemma starts antagonizing Haley and she snaps on her and they start arguing. All of the other ladies trying to get them to stop and take a breather. That is until Haley's chair gets pushed halfway across the room with her sitting in it. Oh, getting good. Haley and everyone are speechless because what the hell do we just witness? Haley gets up from her chair and looks back at it. The chair has no wires or anything that could possibly explain it flying across the room like that. Haley says they have to keep going. The door to the spirit world technically wasn't closed due to Salen's connection being interrupted, so who knows what the f they just invited into their homes. Haley asks if anyone is there and she hears a noise in her apartment. She goes to look but she doesn't find anything. Then Caroline hears something at her place. Is the entity just bouncing around between people's houses in this phone call? Because if so, that's kind of cool. That means it could be anywhere at any time. It won't just be affecting one person in this call. Caroline goes to check out the sound. It could possibly be her dad who we met earlier, but nope, it's coming from the attic. If I see one more attic in a found footage horror movie. She's afraid to look herself, so she puts her phone on a selfie stick and peeks it up there. And everything looks normal as she's panning the camera around until we see what looks like to be feet in a swinging motion as if someone's hanging. She pans the camera back, but the feet are gone. Although everyone in the call agrees they saw something. Haley goes to check her apartment again, but this time she sees something we can't see. So she takes a picture of her living room with her Polaroid camera. And as the picture develops, we see what looks like to be someone hanging in her living room, although we're not able to see their face. But we know Gemma's story about Jack wasn't real, so who is this? Or better question, what is this? They don't even get a chance to process this because the glass on Emma's desk shatters out of nowhere. Haley finally gets a hold of Salen and she says her internet was messing up for some reason, so she's not able to join back on the call. Haley tells her they've been having some experiences, which is extremely vague. I feel like you should give her some more details. Need a little more urgency in this situation. Salen thinks that it's possibly Gemma's friend, Jack, and she wonders if they tried asking if it was indeed Jack. Small problem with that, he's not real. So let's put this all in perspective. Gemma being a dumbass and making up Jack created a false spirit of sorts, a mask for another spirit to attach itself to and come through to our world. Keywords being another spirit. And Salen says if they're lucky, that's just what it is, another spirit wandering around, and they could hypothetically guide it back to where it belongs. But what if they're not lucky?
It could be something demonic.
See, Gemma's lies manifested into something not friendly at all. Jack doesn't exist. Therefore, this malevolent spirit has to make up an image to scare the girls. Hence why they don't see the face of the hanging person in the picture. They're wearing underwear because Gemma didn't describe what he was wearing when he died, or what he liked to wear when he was alive. Salen tells the spirit to give them 1 knock for yes and 2 knocks for no. They ask the spirit if it has a message for them, and Haley's light blinks once. They then ask if it's friendly, and Haley's lights, along with everyone else's, blinks twice. Well, we're screwed. Even better, the phone breaks up, and now Salen isn't picking up. Great, our only way out of this mess, and now she's gone. It's up to Haley to figure out what to do since she has done one of these before. They end the seance the same way they started it, in hopes of closing the door to whatever this thing is that's bothering them. And thankfully, it seems to have worked. They all hang up and then go to bed. Oh, I love a happy ending for once. That's not how the movie ends. A man can dream, can't he? But James is right. Of course, that's not how the movie ends. Let me tell you what actually happens. So Haley asks if anyone is there, but nothing happens. Okay, so far so good. She also sneezes, which I'm pretty sure wasn't scripted, but that's hilarious. Gemma even starts laughing and Caroline starts freaking out for some reason. Do you have an irrational fear of sneezing, Caroline? She must have been going through it during the pandemic. Regina calls her boyfriend, but it seems he's left his phone in the apartment. She assumes he went over to his brother's or something and forgot his phone. No big deal. Gemma says she's gonna head out, but she wants to say bye to everyone first. She says bye to Emma and Haley, and that just leaves Caroline. Regina's on the phone, so she doesn't count. But for some reason, Caroline is not answering. Why is she not answering? Oh, there she is. Wait, no, that's her background. See, earlier when they first got on the call, Caroline was showing them how you can make a video your background on Zoom. So she tested it out to make it look like there was 2 of her in her room. So if that's past Caroline, then where is present Caroline?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. I'm gonna give her a call. What was that?
Okay, plausible explanation for that. She might have just tripped on something. I mean, there's so many things you could trip over on that extremely clear floor. I'm not coping. What are you talking about? Emma is still fooling around with filters when a filter attaches itself to someone else's face. Remember when that was a thing? You see a video of people using a Snapchat filter, then it picks up someone else's face in the background and you get all freaked out? Well, that's what's happening, only 10 times worse, because I don't know if you could blame this on a software glitch. Emma throws some flour onto the area to see if it'll land on anyone or anything, which it doesn't. Perfectly normal. Not normal is seeing someone's footsteps in said flour, and no one being right there. Emma runs back upstairs as whatever this is trails behind her, and she gets lifted up to the air and slammed onto the ground. She's still alive, thankfully, although very shaken up. They all agree that they all need to leave their own individual houses, which would be a good idea if I wasn't absolutely terrified to leave my room. They try to get Regina's attention as her oven is smoking. She turns it off and asks them what they want. Like they're bothering her? Kinda rude, we're trying to save you. As her boyfriend comes plopping onto the ground, dead as fuck. Regina goes to run, not even checking on him. Damn, RIP, Alan. Totally did not digest his name when they said it earlier, that's my bad. However, when Regina gets to her front door to open it, it's slammed shut. And she's pulled backwards, and I'm assuming her head is bashed into something because we can only see a speck of blood on the camera and she goes silent. 2 bodies. We got 2 bodies so far. Let's just hope they don't add on. I'm sure it'll be fine. Why is Caroline button mashing in the chat? Oh, her head is being banged on her desk over and over again, and she's crying for help.
Oh, lovely.
Side note, do you guys remember that video that went viral back in the day? It was of that lady that was doing some makeup tutorial or something. She starts the video off like a typical makeup tutorial, and then her computer starts glitching. It cuts to a dark room on the screen and some creepy music starts playing, and she stares at the camera for like a good minute, then proceeds to bash her own skull in, like over and over and over again. And then the video cuts. For the longest time, I thought that was real. Mind you, that full video was up on YouTube for years. Now, obviously, it's censored, so you might have to go to a different site if you want to watch the actual video, or watch someone's reaction to it. But turns out that whole video was fake. It was a part of some horror project or something, I don't know. Anyway, sorry for the side tangent, but that's what Caroline's death reminded me of. Gemma has the nerve to say this was all Haley's fault? Excuse me? She told you all to specifically what? Take it seriously. Not only do you make me look bad, but now 2 of our friends are dead because of you. They start to argue again, and Haley's chair gets yeeted across the floor once more, and this time she gets dragged out of the room entirely and the door shuts. Damn it, now it's only us 2. Now it turns out that Gemma doesn't live too far from Haley. In the beginning of the movie, we could see her throwing sticks at her window. She was trying to get her attention to let her into the Zoom call. So Gemma decides to leave her place to head over to Haley's to see if she's okay. While that's happening though, the connection on Gemma's end cuts, and now it's just Emma crying by herself. And we still see Caroline's video in the background repeating too. too. Poor Emma. Teddy all of a sudden joins, and it's some clown puppet that he showed the girls earlier. At first you think it got him too, but no, it's just taking the piss, as they call it. Teddy is oblivious to all of this, obviously, since he wasn't in the call this entire time. And I know Emma is scared. Maybe she doesn't want to make too much noise, but you could at least try to communicate that, hey Teddy, half of our friends are dead and that's why I'm crying in terror. Instead, Teddy's lights cut out, which is nothing out of the ordinary since he lives on the countryside. Do you guys also have demons on the countryside? Because if so, that's kind of cool. I'd name mine Darren. Why Darren? I don't know. Imagine you're being haunted by a demon and you find out its name is Darren. Darren the demon. Coin it. I'm not coining that stupidity. So yeah, we get a good look at the demon. Well, kind of a good look. It appears on the stairs and scares the hell out of Teddy, and he runs. As things are being knocked over all over the house, we see Darren again. No, you're not naming the demon Darren. It's my channel. I do what I want. Kind of reminds me of the blue version of that demon from Insidious. Teddy goes to find his girlfriend Jenny. She's outside smoking a cigarette, and she gets lifted into the air, her neck gets broken, and she's dropped into the pool. Well, that escalated quickly. R.I.P. Jenny, I guess. She was a little annoying, but whatever. Teddy runs into his barn, and we see a noose hanging up on the ceiling. Man, this demon is really sticking to this bit. Teddy wasn't even there for the Jack story. I also wonder if he never joined back, would he have lived? Oh yeah, he dies, by the way. I don't know if that was clear. His light suddenly goes out and he's only left with a lighter, as we can hear that little music box that terrified him from his childhood playing on the ground. He then walks closer to it. A bright light appears and you can hear the sound of fire as Teddy is launched backwards and then lit on fire. The camera freezes as he's burnt to a crisp. We can only hear his screams until those can no longer be heard either. Damn, kinda wish I got more attached to Teddy. He seemed like a fun character, but he was barely in the movie. Mind you, Emma's been watching this entire thing go down in terror, crying under her blanket. All of a sudden, everyone's cameras are back. They seem to have disconnected before, besides Gemma, who I assume is still making her way over to Haley's. So technically, it's only Emma left, which means it's her turn. She hears something off in the distance as she takes the blanket off, and her bedroom door suddenly opens. She does the "is someone standing there" test again, but this time with a sheet, and it outlines the body of a person. Emma screams and goes to escape through her window, but we see the camera fall, and not too long after that, Emma's body. She lands right on the picnic table outside. Shit, Gemma, please tell me you're alive and you've made it to Haley's house. I mean, you're the reason we're in this mess, but considering everyone else is dead, I'm weighing my options. Gemma is indeed still alive and discovers all of her friends are dead. And I'm not talking about the Lil Uzi song. She goes to investigate the room as everyone else's video gets disconnected. And all of a sudden she's hit in the face with a bottle of wine. Okay, out of context, that's the tiniest bit hilarious. Am I a terrible person? Yes! That was a rhetorical question, and I gave you a rhetorical answer. What? You know what, forget it. Jenna knocks the laptop over onto the ground and she's seen better days. She finds Haley, who's alive. Okay, that's good at least. Even funnier, they do an elbow bump still practicing social distancing, which good on them, although we're being attacked by a killer demon, might as well get a hug in. It might be our last chance to do so. Anyway, they slowly make their way through the apartment as Haley is snapping pictures on her Polaroid once again to see if she can capture anything. It's a very slow walk until we eventually see the demon jump out at the camera and the call ends. Kind of a cliche jump scare ending, but the rest of the movie was good enough, so I can let it slide. On a cooler note, we see a list of participants, and it's the names of all the people that worked on the movie, pretty much serving as the end credits. I love when creative people do creative shit. That's the type of attention to detail I like, especially for a movie like this. Well, my friends, that was Host 2020. A little extra bit at the end is that the team who worked on Host actually did a seance, a real one, on a Zoom call, and recorded everything. Some creepy stuff happens here and there, but nothing too crazy. And everyone lives. So happy ending in real life. Love to see it. I do wonder, what happened to Salem? I'm assuming she may have been killed off screen possibly, but that's merely speculation. She never did join after the phone call cut, so who knows? All in all, I see why so many people like this movie. You're locked in the house, the whole world seems scary. Why not use that time to be creative and do stuff like this? I remember this movie being pretty decent when it first came out, but after a couple of rewatches, I enjoyed it even more this time around. The scares were good, the practical effects were nice, some of the kills were really good as well. Ending was a little cheesy, kind of reminds me of the Pyramids ending, but other than that, I really enjoyed this one. Have you seen Host? If so, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. If not, check it out. It might give you some quarantine flashbacks, but it's a nice scary watch, and it's not too long, coming in 4 minutes under an hour. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video. Become a member if you want to get my videos a day early, shoutouts, and also a members only video once a month. As a matter of fact, I just uploaded one today. It's of course not required, but it helps the channel out and I appreciate it. Speaking of which, shout out to Zaxxas69. I had to say it separately because the name was fucking with my lisp. Unfortunately, I kind of have one of those. Jay Doesn't Do Things, MTG Horror King, For the Fap, That's Unique, The Creative Aces, Lil Toasty 5125, and Slen10 1988 for being my latest members. I appreciate you for real. My name is Greaves, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace!